Apart from the cost of a basic, like an egg going up as well, you'll know that there's always someone who has to pick up the bill when it comes to protests in our country. They were focusing on the protests at the moment, of course, because of what we've seen in Diepsloot and Diepkloof. The person, or rather the organisation that has to do that, is Sasria. It's the state insurance company providing cover against riots and providing much relief to those impacted by those riots back in 2021. Now, watching developments closely and was able to build reserves to meet those needs. But take a look at the kind of numbers that we're talking about at the moment. It told Parliament this year it's worried about an impending grid collapse, and if riots were to follow on from that. It is asking government for more money. This is the kind of recapitalisation money that they're talking about at the moment to be able to meet the mandate. 22 billion rand. Keep the number 22 billion rand in your mind. Here is why you have to remember that number. I take you back to the impact of the violence in 2021, dire for communities and companies in Gauteng, also having an impact on the broader economy, where 50 billion rand was lost. Let's bring up how we got to 50 billion rand. Wiped off the economy, 22 billion rand for that. Sasria paying out 24 billion rand, and in 2021, Sasria losing 26 billion rand. We're at a point now where we're just throwing around billions as though it almost doesn't even matter, but it does, because if Sasria starts running out of money, you have to recapitalize, because we know from experts we've been talking to here on ENCA, as we build up to the elections next year, there's a very, very good chance that we could see more protests unfolding, which means more money from the state insurer. But the insurer did tell Parliament it won't manage a grid collapse without government intervention. So there's a couple of issues that Sasria talks about. Let's bring this up for you as well. So they say they're not going to be able to cover claims that are related to a grid collapse. That was the original story. They have then gone and retracted that as well. But there are a number of risks which remain. So if we take out a national grid failure, which they say they're not going to be able to cover, and then bring in service delivery riots and a lack of planning for natural disasters like we've just seen down in KZN, you can start to get a sense of just how dire it is for Sasria, because if Sasria doesn't have the money to pay for it, the question is, where is that money going to come from?